Hey YouTube, welcome back. So in today's video, it's I guess the seventh video of all of our series of the system design fundamentals. In the last video, we talked about the cache, and today basically we'll continue about how to improve the latency by talking about the CDN. So let's just make a quick recap about this system. So if you are new, so you understand what we are doing here. Basically, this is a small system, a small design of a system that it's quite scalable. Basically, we have a client. This client is using DNS it's like a DNS for it's short for a domain name system to get the IP address of the load balancer and once the client get the IP address from the DNS and connected with the load balancer with the HTTP protocol, and send the request to the load balancer. The load balancer basically takes all the requests that are coming from the client and just distribute this request up to across the web tier. Basically, we have multiple web server working in the same time to maximize the availability and the scalability of the application, and also we will not have any single point of failure, because once one of our server went down, the other will continue working. And after that, we had the web tier connecting with database data tier, basically, that has master slave setup. Basically, the master is for write operations and the slave for read operations, and this setup basically it's good for scalability, and also it's good for availability, because if one of the slaves went down, the other will work, and if one of the master went down, one of the slaves will be promoted as a slave, as a new master. And basically to improve the latency and the user experience, basically we created a cache. And a cache, it's let's say that it's a software, or it's like a memory storage that we store in it the frequently accessed data, and we want to make sure that we give it the right policy. So basically we don't put the data is quite too long, and it's not or not too short. So basically we could use the cache system. And for this one, we have another thing that we should create, which is something called CDN. Let's just make this quite so yeah, I just put it like that. And basically the CDN is or content delivery network is a distributed network of servers that are designed to deliver content, such as like images, CSS, JavaScript, web pages, and like any static content, basically, to users around the world. The CDNs works by caching and delivering content from the server, basically, that is geographically closest to the user, which can be significantly reduce latency and improve the user experience. So for example, let's say that we are requesting a specific image from like we have an image, and basically the client is requesting this image, okay, and it takes maybe like 200 what and it takes where is the text here, and it takes maybe like 200 milliseconds to reach this image, because it's geographically quite far. So basically what the CDN does, basically, and CDN will cache this image and store it in the cache. So basically, instead of the client again, so basically when the client try to access this image again, he will only have to reach for the client. So basically, for example, because it's the client, it's way more closer than the image server. It will only take like the way more less time to get the actual image content, basically. So it's basically when a user requests the content from a website, the request is directed to the nearest server in the CDN, which can deliver the content more quickly than a server located further away. This can result in faster load times, basically reduce the latency and improve the reliability of content delivery. So basically, the CDNs provide several benefits. Other than that, first we have a faster load time. CDNs can reduce the time, as we said, improve reliability. CDNs can improve the reliability of content delivery by distributing basically the content across multiple servers, which reduce the risk of single point of failure. This is a great one. Reduce the bandwidth cost. Basically, CDNs can help reduce bandwidth costs associated with the delivering content by caching and delivery content from servers located closer to the actual user. Improve the scalability. Also, CDNs can improve the scalability of the website because it can it can distribute the load across multiple servers. So basically, when a lot of clients are accessing a specific image, it just distributed that to make sure that there is no overload basically. And improve the security because CDN can provide additional security features such as DDoS or protection and SSL encryption. I guess, but this is not it's I guess it's out of the scope for system design. In system design, you should know the CDN it's using to cache and cache the image, and it improve reliability, fast load time. It's to reduce latency basically. So yeah, that's it. And to continue to about that, let's just delete that. Okay, let's delete that. So basically, let's just say what happened here basically. So basically, a user, let's just go back. So basically, a user tries to get the image basically by its URL, for example, and the URL basically it's provided by the name basically. It's just like, or like the maybe it's stored in a blob storage like S3, something like that. But basically the CDN provider will do the will cache the image and store it there, and basically first, if the CDN doesn't have the image, it will store it there. If it does have it, it will just return to the client, and that's it. And yeah, that's it for today's video. Before I close, I finish the video, I have to talk about some things that we have to consider when we talk about the CDNs. Just CDNs, most of the time it's running by third-party provider, maybe using AWS, maybe using Google Cloud, but it's most of the time it's running by third-party providers, and you are charge of the data that you are transferring in and out of the CDN. So caching infrequently used, like if you are caching a lot, or you are storing a lot of data, that just put in mind what you design system, and you say what you put in the CDN. Just make sure that it could be cost a lot basically. And also another thing, that you should setting the appropriate cache policy to make sure that when it's expired and when in which it will not. And the last thing, that you shouldn't, just to make sure that when the CDN takes have a problem, just take time out, something like that, how you can handle that by just maybe create multiple CDN servers. But I guess this you will not go through that, but you should just you will not go through that in the system design interview, but you should just know that anyway. So yeah, basically this is it today for the CDN, and I guess that we have our application. It's quite scalable right now. It's the best right now. And let's just copy this one, and I wanna delete this one, and just DNS, and yeah. So basically we have this one, and okay, and yeah, that's it for today's video. And I guess for next video we'll talk about the stateless WebT. Basically right now we will talk about how we scale our application horizontally, and I guess maybe you have like more 4 or 5 videos in the fundamentals, and after that we could start into real world system design problems to solve basically. And that's it for today's video, and see you in next video.